Check 1, 2.
Audio confirmed.
for the delay. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Monroe County Board of Commissioners. It is Wednesday, February 8th, and I will note for the record that all three commissioners are present here in the Nat U Hill room. We'll start with our public statement read by Commissioner Thomas.
Good morning. We, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, renew our commitment to welcome and protect the rights of all people, regardless of age, race, color, creed, disability, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, marital status, economic status, and national origin. And we affirm the right of every person to live peacefully and without fear. And we will fight and resist at every step discrimination and harmful policies, whatever their source. We also stand in support of our county public school systems, both RBB and MCCSC.
Thank you. And now we have department updates. We'll start with Ms. Kelly.
Good morning. Just a few updates this morning. Our COVID-19 community level remains low at this time. The XBB 1.5 strain continues to make up the majority of COVID cases we are seeing. And as a reminder, the health department has free at-home COVID-19 tests available for pickup Monday through Friday from 8 to 4 p.m. Or you can call 812-349-2543 for more information.
Thank you. Questions or comments? And people can also get their COVID vaccines at the public health clinic, right, on Miller Drive?
Yes, absolutely. And you can call 812-353-3244 to make an appointment.
Thank you. See you later.
Thanks.
Thanks. Now we'll go on to Chief Deputy Phil Parker from the Sheriff's Office. Sorry, I have to get all the titles here, you know.
Okay, I think I'm good. Just real quick, I'll be very, very brief. We had a very productive meeting, I think, last week with Commissioner Givens, and we're trying to sort out the way forward here. It was very helpful, very fruitful. Myself and the jail commander we were in front of PAC yesterday as Commissioner Givens was there with us to discuss the jail tech position. I think that's going forward to the council. I think it's a very positive step as we move forward on what we need to do to improve the conditions there. And so I feel pretty positive about the direction we're taking. If that helps.
Thank you.
Okay.
Questions or comments?
No, just very pleased that things are moving forward.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to go ahead and add at this point that, yes, we met last week with people in the jail. That included Sheriff Marte, Chief Deputy Parker, and Jail Commander Gibbons, along with some other members of the staff or the legal staff, and County Councilors Cheryl Munson and Jennifer Crosley. And it was generally agreed that the jail staff is responsible for cleaning, including in keeping the toilets clean and unclogged, painting, installing clocks, and simple light maintenance such as changing out light bulbs. Some of this work will be performed by jail inmates under the supervision of jail staff. And as Chief Deputy Parker just indicated, the sheriff is in the process of applying to have that position of jail technician created, with the understanding that if such a position is approved and someone is hired, this person will oversee inmate workers and will do light maintenance in the areas where inmates are not allowed. The commissioners are responsible for standard building maintenance. This includes the actual building, mechanical and electrical maintenance, drains, roof, etc. With the problems recently identified in the jail, the commissioners are responsible for patching the edging along the shower stalls, replacing the cast iron drain in the laundry area, and replacement of the vent fans in the jail. Some of this work, such as repair of a toilet and changes to the drive in the Sally Port, have already been accomplished. So I think we are moving forward, and I appreciate being able to work with the sheriff and his staff on these things. So thank you. Next up is Chris Myers from Rural Transit. Or is it?
It's going to be Lisa.
Okay.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Lisa with Area 10 Rural Transit. I just wanted to give some quick updates on the ridership numbers and our current position with hiring of staff and drivers. Our ridership numbers have slowly been increasing. They're up 42% for the month of January of this year when compared to our numbers in January of 2021. They are still well below the pre-COVID numbers from back in 2019, but we are slowly increasing. Our average revenue mile traveled per trip in the month of January was 11.5 miles. And compared to 2019, the revenue miles per trip was 6.91. And that's just the destination average per trip throughout the county. We're currently 5 full-time drivers short with staffing compared to our staffing pre-COVID. We currently have 7 drivers, 4 of which are full-time, 3 are part-time. We had a kind of a subtle shift from drivers being full-time, switching to part-time. Moving forward, we're going to be working to fill the full-time positions and increasing our numbers of ridership. And if there's any other questions or suggestions you have that you might like updates on in the future, please let me know.
Mr. Jones?
No, I don't. Thank you.
No questions. It's good to hear that things are ticking up.
Thank you.
Yes, and we're looking forward to perhaps getting some new vehicles for them. So it's quite good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Is there any other department that has a department update? Seeing none, I will move on to public comment. This is for items not on the agenda, and remind everyone there's a 3-minute limit. And when you step up to the mic or announce yourself on Zoom, please give us your name and indicate whether or not you're a resident of Monroe County. I don't see anyone wishing to make public comment today, so let's move on to the first item on our agenda.
I move approval of the minutes for February 1st, 2023.
Second.
Were there any additions or corrections? I had one correction, but I'm sure that that's been made, so I concur that things look good. So all in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
I move approval of the claims docket accounts payable February 8th, 2023 and payroll February 10th, 2023.
Second.
And we have Ms. Gregory here with us.
Good morning, Commissioners. The accounts payable claims docket total for February 8th, 2023 is $1,326,118.22. A few notable expenses include $226,917 for Highland Fire Insurance, $143,906 for Highland Property Insurance, and $106,286.51 for Nexus Group reassessment contract. The payroll docket expense grand total is $2,216,720.15. This includes the first quarter bonus, the employee retention bonus. The direct payroll costs are $1,579,590.54. And then the indirect costs are $637,129.61.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
Questions or comments from my colleagues?
No, I don't.
No, it was a pretty long list again this week to get through. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. So we don't take public comment on this, correct? No, do we? We don't take public comment? Sorry, I'm still learning the ropes here. So is there any public comment on this item? See none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the claims docket accounts payable February 8th, 2023, and payroll February 10th, 2023, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. I'll note for the record that we have no reports in our packet this week, so let's move on to new business.
I move approval of a grant agreement with the Indiana Department of Health for opioid rescue kits.
Second.
Thank you, and we have Ms. Kelly here to talk with us.
Yes, so good morning again. This request is just to approve this grant award. This is for our emergency opioid rescue kits. These are kits that we provide throughout the community, such as to the local fire department, the police department, and other local organizations. The department does provide free educational training along with part of this grant agreement award. And from my understanding, we have been receiving this award for the past several years now, and it helps to just strengthen our harm reduction program.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
I'm just very pleased that we're continuing this program.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Is there a way that just a regular citizen can go to the health department and get some of the naloxone kits?
Yes, so we would schedule the individual for training that is required to receive the kit, but then the kits can be picked up from there.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I call for a vote on approval of the Indiana Department of Health opioid rescue kit grant. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next item.
I move approval of an addendum to the JCL Aerial Services Agreement.
Second.
Fund name and number.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fund name, County General Fund Number 1,000, not to exceed $1,797.
Thank you. And we have Mr. Robertson here today.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
So the original service agreement with JCL was signed in August of 2022. They were to take pictures and videos of Will Detmer Park, Cars Farm Park, and the Cars Farm Greenway. Due to some delays in the Cars Farm Greenway trailhead project at the park, we weren't able to get the footage of the park and Greenway before the leaves fell off the trees. So this addendum is actually to extend the expiration date of the original agreement to July of 2023. So we'll have leaves on the trees. Things will look nice when we shoot the footage. And if there are any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Jones?
No questions, but I'm really pleased this is happening. The new section of the trail is very tempting looking, and I think it'll be very helpful.
Yeah, Commissioner Combs.
No questions.
Yes, it was really enjoyable to be out there for the ribbon cutting.
Good.
The extension of the trail, and it really is, I think, probably the prettiest part of that trail. So, yeah.
I agree.
So is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, call for a vote on the addendum to the JCL Aerial Services Agreement. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Move approval of the Riverway Plumbing and bid proposal for the jail, fund name Cumulative Capital Fund Number 1138 in the amount of $3,420.
Second.
And we have Mr. Kreider here to tell us about it.
Good morning, Commissioners. Richard Kreider, Fleet and Facilities. The cast iron laundry drain pipes are prone to clogging due to pipe sizing and poor interior condition. They require occasional cleaning with a drain machine. The waistline below has become damaged due to vibration from the drain machine. This request is to approve the proposal submitted by Riverway Plumbing in the amount of $3,420 to replace drain lines at 2 locations in the jail, the cast iron drain pipe servicing the laundry equipment, and a portion of the waistline below the laundry and kitchen areas.
Okay, any questions or comments?
I'm glad we're using a local company.
Yeah, pleased to see this moving forward.
And I'm pleased that once we were made aware of a problem that you addressed it so quickly. So really appreciate that.
Mhm.
Is there anyone, any public comment on this item? Okay, all those, call for a vote then. All those in favor of approving the Riverway plumbing bid proposal for the jail signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
I move approval of Steve's roofing proposal for Justice Building roof repair, fund name Cumulative Capital Development Fund, fund number 1138, in the amount of $11,800.
Second.
And again, we have Mr. Kreider.
This request is to approve the proposal submitted by Steve's Roofing in the amount of $11,800 to tear out an area of the roofing material over the laundry room and then rebuild it with an increased slope towards the roof drains to prevent standing water.
Thank you. Questions or comments from my colleagues?
No, I don't.
No questions. Thank you.
Again, it's nice that you're using a local company for all this and getting this taken care of so quickly. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, call for a vote on the approval of Steve's roofing proposal for the Justice Building roof repair. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Mr. Kreider.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
I move approval of a memorandum of understanding for Laura Fur Consulting, fund name JDAI Programming and JDAI Performance, fund numbers 9123 and 9163, in a grant amount of up to $57,500.
Second.
And we have Ms. McAfee here with us today. Tell us all about it, please. You're muted.
Yes, I definitely was muted. Sorry about that. Hello, and good morning to everybody. I was out yesterday, so I think today is my Monday day. So thanks for the redo. So this funding is part of our JDAI grant award. $7,500 is from our traditional grant that we get annually. $50,000 is from the performance bonus grant. And Laura has been working with our community for, probably the last 18 to 24 months and supporting probation's efforts to build a youth and family component of our JDAI model. I know I have heard you all talk about this in the past, but the kind of, the mantra of nothing about us without us really has started to blend into other areas of the justice system. And we are trying very hard to include youth and families into discussions about probation transformation.
Excellent. Questions or comments?
Yeah, this is just a really wonderful program, and I'm glad you're expanding, and this sounds like it'll be very valuable.
Yeah, it's a great program. Thank you for your hard work and your staff too. Thank you.
Well, and it fits in so well with the other things we're trying to work on with criminal justice reform in our community. So I really appreciate both the fact that you're getting these grants and the fact that you've got someone like this to work with you. So I appreciate that. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, call for a vote on approving the memorandum of understanding for Laura for Consulting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
I move approval of a memorandum of understanding with the warehouse, fund names JDAI Programming and JDAI Performance, fund numbers 9123 and 9163, in a grant amount up to $6,500.
Second.
Again, Ms. McAfee.
Hello. You might remember a few weeks ago when I was here and I talked a little bit about the focus of our grant JDAI efforts and really looking at diversion from a community base, not just what access does probation have to programmings. And in conversations with Dave Weil, the executive director of the warehouse, he brought up a concern that currently at the warehouse, young people 12 and under are not permitted to access their resources unless they have an adult with them. And it happens that Sometimes young people don't have an adult that's available to be with them. And so they end up getting turned away. And so what this funding is allowing us to do is Dave's going to actually hire individuals to work or supervise one-on-one with the young people that want to access the warehouse during those hours when parents weren't available. So those young people aren't going to be turned away. And our goal is to develop relationships and mentorships. So it's not just going to be somebody sitting there on their phone, kind of yelling at somebody when they've done something they shouldn't be, but it's going to be somebody that's actually engaged with and playing with and having conversations with these young people so they can access the pro-social resource, which is a great win for our community. And they're also going to be attached to adult mentors, which we learned through our community assessment a couple of years ago. The young people in this community are really hungry for adult mentorship opportunities. So shout out to the warehouse for being willing to partner with us. And this just formalizes those conversations.
Excellent comments. Commissioner
Well,
Timmons?
yes, thank you so much to the warehouse. And this is just another example of the amazing things that JDAI is doing in our community.
Commissioner Thomas?
Oh, great idea. Kudos.
Yes, it's making expanded use of things already in the community as well. So I applaud everything that's going on here, both with JDAI and with the warehouse. Thank you for making this happen. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I call for a vote on the memorandum of understanding with the warehouse. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
I move approval of an agreement with Midwest Presort, fund name, reassessment, fund number 1224 in an amount not to exceed $44,556.81.
Second.
And we have Ms. Surface here from the assessor's office.
Hi, good morning, commissioners. Yes, we are seeking approval for 3 different agreements. One of them is to obtain postage to mail out our Form 2s, which is notice of annually assessed mobile homes, which should go out next week. The second is for business personal property mailings. All businesses will receive these forms from our office, which they're to file. Again, it's postage for that mailing. And the third one is for the processing, stuffing, printing of our Form 11s for 2023 that will go out to all taxpayers the last week of April to meet our May 1st deadline.
Excellent. Comments or questions?
No, I don't.
No questions. Thank you.
No, I received those Form 11s.
And that's a good thing.
Yes. Okay. So is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I call for a vote on approval of Midwest Presort Agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Passes
good day.
3-0. Okay, next item.
I move approval of a renewal of the agreement with DocuSign, fund name Cumulative Capital Development Fund, fund number 1138, in the amount of $5,520.
Second.
And we have Mr. Crone here. Your information today. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Greg Cron, Technical Services Department. In case you're not familiar, the county uses a program called DocuSign for several of our departments. That way they can send out forms electronically and get a legal binding signature on those documents. That's has been an annual agreement. Minor oversight by DocuSign this past year. They forgot to approach us to get a new contract signed. So it actually expired in March of 22. Our county is in good standing. They have been billing us. We have been paying, but they're seeking a new agreement so that we can continue service.
Thank you. Comments or questions?
No, just glad we have this service.
Great.
Yeah, this has changed a lot of the ways we do business, which is wonderful. I'm just curious, is this price a little higher than previous in the last agreement?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and certainly, I think for someone like me, it cuts down the driving that we have to do. So appreciate it.
we see this everywhere now. If you do any business, even outside county government, I mean, with medical or banking, any of that, they all use DocuSign now. So it has transformed how we do business.
Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, call for a vote on approval of the DocuSign agreement renewal. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
I move approval of the 2022 OSHA 300 summary.
And we have Ms.
Second.
Sorry, I'm jumping the gun here, aren't I?
I was being slow.
We have Ms. Sensenstein here to talk to us today.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is, like you mentioned, the OSHA summary report that we file annually. I submitted it to OSHA last week. This is just for your review and acknowledgement. I've also included some reports from IPEP, the claims from 22, and the trends analysis for the past 3 years, and happy to answer any questions.
No, I don't.
No questions. Thank you.
Seemed pretty straightforward in the packet. You organize it well. Appreciate that. Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, I call for a vote on the approval of the 2022 OSHA 300 summary. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Mrs. Sensenstein. Next item.
I move approval of the agreement with BNL IT Services LLC, fund name election, fund number 1215, in an amount not to exceed $225,000 in the first year and an amount not to exceed $325,000 in the second year.
Second.
And we have Ms. Martin here to tell us about this.
Good morning, ladies. This is the contract between BNL and the early voting and election day setup and breakdown of our equipment. We're asking for a 2-year contract.
Questions or comments?
I assume it's quite a bit more expensive the second year because there's more of an election.
There's more poll sites that are involved and there's more setup.
No questions.
Yes, I was just gonna also say that this year we have just municipal elections, so we're not going out into the far reaches of the county. with
That is
polling
true.
sites.
And the first year, they're asking for less money, not to exceed $225,000.
And these are things we should point out to the public too, that we have to keep an eye on all the equipment very
do.
closely.
The equipment being electronic does make it more convenient, but it also comes with other financial needs, and that is the upkeep, the storage, and routine maintenance and setup.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I call for a vote on the BNL IT Services LLC agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Ms. Martin. Okay, we have any appointments to make?
We do. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Dr. Sarah Ryderband to the Board of Health.
Second.
Is there any comments on this? Sarah is a very active member of our community, and so it's a pleasure to have her join this board also. We don't take comments on appointments, right? Okay, thank you. So all those in favor of appointing Dr. Sarah Ryderband to the Board of Health signify by saying aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Dr. Ryderband. Okay, with announcements, again, want to point out that there's free COVID testing and you can get COVID vaccines at the Monroe County Health Department. 119, I'm sorry, you don't get vaccinations there, you get those at Miller Drive, sorry. There's free COVID testing available at the Monroe County Health Department at 119 West 7th Street, as well as at the Monroe County Public Health Clinic at 333 East Miller Drive. Applications are still being accepted for selected boards and commissions. And again, we have blood drives coming up. We have one on Thursday, February 16th from 1 to 6, and Friday, February 17th from 10 to 3 p.m. And those are at Ivy Tech. They're being co-sponsored with sorry, my brain's gone. The American Red Cross. There's also ones March the 8th on Wednesday from 10 to 3, and on Friday, March the 10th from 1 to 6. Again, out at Ivy Tech, you can sign up at redcross.org. We also urge you to sign up for the resident alert notification system. To do that, go to co.monroe.in.us. This will give you updates for weather and any health-related emergencies. And we, again, want to remind everyone that if you need assistance for rent, for utilities, for emergency medical expenses, you can go to your township trustee. Every single resident of the county has a trustee that they can go to. And there's a list with their names and phone numbers on the county site, or you can check our minutes each week. So that's all I have. Do anything from any of my colleagues?
No, I don't. Just a reminder about our office hours.
Oh, yes, we have virtual office hours. I had one this past Monday, in fact. And you can get onto our website, again, at co.monroe.in.us, and you can talk with one of us privately, virtually. You don't have to leave the comfort of your home to do that. So if there's nothing else, call for an adjournment. And we do have something on our work schedule. So what time should we come back? It's now 11, or it's now 10:39. At 10:50, we'll come back at 10:50. We'll see everyone soon. Oh, and we did have a little bit of a glitch with the sound apparently at the beginning. We apologize for that.
Mic check, 1, 2, mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2, mic check, 1, 2.
Good morning. Is it? It feels like it should be afternoon. Okay, let me restart today. Maybe it's like what Ms. McAfee said, she's rebooting and it's like Monday again. Yeah. Okay, so good morning. I want to call to order this work session of the Monroe County Board of Commissioners. It's February the 8th, and to start with, we have Drew Myers from Planning to talk with us about a rezone in Steinsville.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to share my screen here. And this is just the packet for today's work session. A more formal presentation will be made at the work session, or the formal session, excuse me. So this is the Steinsville Rezone Ordinance 2023-08. This petition is actually a group of petitions. We've lumped it all into one report, but we did kind of break it up into separate parts for the Plan Commission. I can do that again and present them separately for the commissioners meeting as well. But for today, I'll just kind of cover all three of them rather quickly. And then we'll have, if you have any questions about them, either individual parts or all of them as a whole, we can cover those. So basically, there's, like I said, three main parts to this request. It is a rezone from general business to high density residential. That's for 10 parcels that are located on West Main Street in Steinsville. And then there's another portion that is related to a rezone request from agricultural rural reserve to institutional public. And that is 2 parcels that are basically incorporated with the former school site and the existing fire station out there. So the reasons for the Main Street rezones, which is Part A and Part B, the town of Steinsville, the people that live there in those properties, as well as the town's representatives, have stated that they would prefer to have these properties rezoned to high density residential to promote more residential uses in the area. There has not been much business activity on these properties since the last time that they were rezoned. We do have some background in this packet about the history of Steinsville and how it entered into a interlocal agreement and how the county provided some zoning guidance for that area. But with this petition, they're looking to go back to some residential uses along West Main Street. And for the school and the fire station area, that is kind of just cleaning up zoning. The school sits on several different parcels, and then the fire station does not have its own parcel that it sits on. So we're looking, the petitioner is looking to clean up that zoning from agricultural rural reserve to institutional public. Even though fire station is technically permitted in the Ag RR zone, cleaning it up this way will make it a lot more just clean and reflect the ability to subdivide this property later on, so that the fire station can sit on its own unique parcel. And that's a separate petition that is still being worked on, and that will be going through the Plan Commission, I believe. Okay, so I've stated the reasons why the rezones are being requested. A little bit of background. So the zoning efforts in Steinsville began in late 2004 with a designated community planning effort. There were public hearings before the Planning Commission in 2005. And then in March 2010, the town of Steinsville entered into a interlocal agreement regarding planning and zoning authority. And then in 2010, I have that a little snippet of that plan here from the staff report. It's a little bit grainy. So if you'd like to see a better resolution of that, I can provide that to you. But basically it was outlining that along West Main Street to promote some potential growth in the business sector, that West Main Street would actually receive a general business zoning district. So this was the proposed zoning back then during the interlocal agreement. You'll see that along West Main Street, it's all the dark red color, which is general business. And this is what it was before the interlocal agreement. So there was, a lot of residential still allowed on West Main Street, with a few commercial properties popped up in there. So they're looking to kind of go back again towards some of this residential character. And I will scroll to some of these items here and that will help explain that. So this is the parcels, this map that you see on your screen. These are the parcels on West Main Street that are currently occupied, meaning that there is already a building on them, and those buildings are residential buildings. So these are some of the properties that are requesting to be rezoned from the general business to high density residential, so that those uses are no longer considered pre-existing non-conforming. There is one unique property, I believe it's this parcel here. They are actually operating a home daycare, but also live there. So based on the current zoning, that is a pre-existing non-conforming use, and they're kind of stuck in a limbo right now with getting permits for that type of use. So that is one specific case or example as to why some of the property owners in these areas are looking to get a rezone to the residential zoning district. This is the part B. This is also still along West Main Street. These parcels that you see highlighted, these are actually vacant properties. One of them in the bottom left-hand corner or southwest corner is owned by Bloomington Restorations, and they do have intentions of constructing a home there. These other parcels, I don't know specifically what their intentions are for the properties, but they are involved in the rezone request from general business to residential, high density residential, excuse me. And then finally, here are those two parcels that are involved with the fire station and former school site. I'll have more details about that. So here's all of them together with the zoning map. You'll note that the Ag-R district over here kind of coincides with the institutional public. This red polygon you see here is the proposed subdivision for the fire station itself, so that it will sit on its own parcel. And again, that will be coming down the pipeline at a later date. This table here is a brief breakdown of the properties along West Main Street, given whether or not that they're currently residential or if they're vacant, and maybe who owns that property currently. So there's a lot of good exhibits in this packet that kind of show you what we're looking at. This one, for example, highlights those properties that are vacant with the yellow stars. It also gives you kind of an aerial image of what those properties look like right now. Here again is a exhibit with the red polygon that shows the future subdivision for the fire station, which is located right here along the western edge. There was some conversation in the PRC before the Plan Commission about incorporating the parcels across the street from the fire station. So it turns out that the fire station uses those parcels as kind of an auxiliary parking area to assist with turning around and other parking of vehicles. However, the idea of including that additional parcel into the rezone request would have actually pushed back the entire project or petition due to noticing requirements. So new notice would have had gone out and we would have had to push it back on the agendas. So it was determined in the Plan Commission stages that the type of zoning that's currently there, which is high density residential, that can be picked up in the new CDO. So we can kind of clean that up at a later date for the fire station area. Okay, just some more exhibits, some aerial pictometry. Try to think of other high level things to go over. And we do have as an exhibit later on in the packet, a list of all the property owners that are in support of or are involved, excuse me, in the rezone request. It's a rather long exhibit, but we've got a lot of signatures here, and each of the property owners also received notice letters for their own petition. That way we make sure that everyone is aware that this is going on, and that if they have any questions or want to attend the meetings, they can do so. Yeah, I think that's most of what I want to cover right now. Does anyone have any questions?
Not at this time.
Commissioner Thomas?
No.
You've seen this before.
I have.
Yes. For those that aren't aware, Commissioner Thomas sits on the planning commission, so she's reviewed this already. I don't have any questions either. I just need to do a deep dive into the material. So when should we ask for this to come back to us?
Next week is fine.
It's fine with me also if it comes back next week. Will you be ready for that, Mr. Myers?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, very good. Well, then we will see you on the 15th. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And we do have one other item, at least, Mr. Cockrell.
Yes, I just wanted to get your authorization, I guess, to reach out to the city of Bloomington to talk to them, ask them if they had any available sites that maybe, or any sites, and I think particularly I'll focus and ask a direct question about the Hopewell site for any jail facility, and if they had any ideas of any land that they had control over that they thought would be a good idea to put that facility on.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from Mr. Cockrell?
Yeah, I think it's good to make sure that we have thoroughly vetted the city for a possible location, keeping in mind that the location does have to meet our needs and fall within our budget and various different things like that.
Commissioner Thomas? No, I appreciate you reaching out. Is there anyone else that has an item for the work session? If not, I will adjourn the session. Thank you, everyone, for your attendance, and we'll see you back next week.